I live in this state. I have also legislated specifically in this state, the state of Texas. And recently, my governor, who seemingly does nothing but atrocious things, decided that he was going to order that migrants, and this doesn't say it, but specifically the headlines that we saw were children as well as pregnant mothers, be pushed back into the Rio Grande. Currently, the DOJ is suing my governor because he decided that he wanted to use razor wire. This is not fixing fentanyl, as far as I'm concerned.
I think we're trying to state the facts of what another political stunt that we're seeing happen and the impact of it.
Sit down and don't play this stuff.
The next shooting is right now, and you are doing nothing.
No, he needs to get his ass out of here. This isn't the place to talk this over.
This is totally predictable when you...
Sir, you're out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Sir, you are out of line.
This is the cost and consequence of Greg Abbott and the kind of political stunts at the border that doesn't bring security or safety, but in fact creates more chaos where our country meets the rest of the world.
As Governor Abbott so cravenly showed, whether you come alive or whether you are tragically dead, if there is a single immigrant searching for a better life in this country, those cowards will use it as a political opportunity, and the political attacks simply will not stop.
The first bus of migrants arrived in D.C. today. Texas Governor Greg Abbott making good on his promise to send migrants to the president's doorstep. I think you previously called it a publicity stunt. Is that still the view of the White House? Can you give us any reaction to this busload of migrants arriving here in D.C.?
Well, these are all migrants who have been processed by CBP and are free to travel, so it's nice the state of Texas is helping them get to their final destination as they await in their outcome of their immigration proceedings, and they're all in immigration proceedings.
And then on your statement this morning, you had mentioned in that statement that the truck inspections have led, that Governor Abbott has been conducting, have led to disruptions for the food and automobile supply chains and rising prices for families. So is the White House blaming Greg Abbott for inflation?
Well, I think we're trying to state the facts of what another political stunt that we're seeing happen and the impact of it. And what we're seeing is right now, factually, there's over $1 million in trade crossing over the U.S.-Mexico border every minute. These actions are impacting people's jobs and the livelihoods of hardworking families in Texas and across the country. That's not a political statement. That's a statement of fact. I'd also note that what we're seeing with these unnecessary inspections of trucks transiting ports of entry between Texas and Mexico are significant delays, which are resulting in a drop in commercial traffic of up to 60 to 70% in some ports. And that is significantly impacting the local and regional supply chains to the point that trade associations, officials, and businesses are calling for the Texas governor to reverse this self-inflicted gridlock. I'd also note that CBP officers are very good at their jobs, and Texas DPS does not need to replace CBP at the southern border.
So it's a political stunt more than it is anything else, but the cost is coming right here to the people of Laredo, to the folks who work, the truck drivers behind me who've been on this bridge almost all day, who on a typical day might be crossing 4 times, but right now are only crossing 1 time, and they get paid per crossing, by the way. So try hiring truck drivers if this goes on much longer. What you see behind me is not just stalled trucks. You see a supply chain problem that is the making of the governor of the state of Texas, making it harder for goods to get to the consumers in America who are waiting on it, making it harder for things to come into small business owners who depend on them to be able to literally stay in business and keep their employees on the payroll. What you see behind me is inflation. You're going to see job losses throughout the state of Texas. There are 600,000 jobs that depend on the U.S.-Mexico trade that takes place here at the Columbia Bridge in Laredo. And you're going to see job losses across the country. 6 million jobs nationally depend on what we have here. This is the cost and consequence of Greg Abbott and the kind of political stunts at the border that doesn't bring security or safety, but in fact creates more chaos where our country meets the rest of the world.